Up, everybody? We are starting the hour of power. I like to come on a few minutes early to give folks some time to get on so that we can greet and meet each other and say hello and share the video and get everybody going. So I just want to stop and say hello to everybody. Hope that everyone is having a great day. Again, I like to give room for folks to join, but this is the hour of power. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you all can hear me. Let me turn my engine off. But definitely excited tonight. Looking forward to speaking with you all. Go ahead and share the video if you're in a group and you feel like that group needs to hear. I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight, but share the hour of power. This is such an important time for us to gather at the beginning of the week, the start of the week, to talk about whatever it is. Hey, Tasha, to talk about whatever it is that may have come up for us this week. And as we talk about that, we will be able to just kind of navigate and move through our week a little bit better. So if something has come up for you, if something is going on actively right now, we like to talk about those things. This is your time to talk about those things. And we like to give a few minutes. Thank you for sharing that, Tasha. I'm going to swipe this notification. Okay. I really appreciate you all joining. And I look forward to having the conversations with you all. I know there are a lot of people who joined that I don't actively see who's on. But I'm so excited about being able to come together and share with you all on tonight. So we give a few minutes for folks to join. If not, we're going to keep on moving. Look, I'll have a conversation. And until folks get on, we're going to just talk. Okay? So definitely excited. Hope everyone is having an amazing Sunday. It is Sunday Hour of Power. Hope all is well. So it's been a very, very long week for me. I have not been as active on Facebook, rightfully so this week. And so I want to just shout out everyone who has sent me inboxes and said things and, you know, just been kind, checking in. I really appreciate that. It's so important. Yeah, no worries. I'm not worried about them being here. But definitely sending folks who have sent me inboxes, who've just checked in. For some folks, I may not have even had the capacity to respond. I really appreciate you. Hey, Tasha, tag Teresina, tag Dolores if you're friends with them. Can you tag Eve Dallas if you're friends with them? Dre, absolutely, yeah. Don't forget about Dre. For us to just have a little conversation, okay? I'm going to sit here for just a few more minutes because I'm just excited and look forward to the hour of power, the discussions that we're going to have. I'm definitely excited about just being alive and just being in my right mind. There's so many people who lose their mind on a regular basis because of so many things that are going on. It's a blessing to just be in a place where you have your right mind and that you're able to be stable. Thank you so much, Tasha. I really appreciate you. I work you so much. I really appreciate you for stepping it up and just, you know, being who you are. I really appreciate that. Okay, yep, Lolita. Look, you be just hitting them all, right? All right, we're going to get them. We're going to wake them up today. We're going to wake them up. It's time. It's time. We're going to have this hour of power. We're a little bit after 6. We're just going to try to wait for some folks to get on. Because we're going to have a conversation. But y'all know, y'all don't know, but I will have a conversation by myself. I love to talk. But definitely the hour of power for those who will be joining at some point or who may be watching it later. We have it every Sunday at 6 p.m. And it is designed for you to talk about whatever it is that may have come up for you today, what came up for you for the week, what came up for you Sunday dinner is fine. It's fine. Whatever has come up for you, we like to talk about it. We like to have the conversations. Why? Because if we're having conversations about things, that means we're actually actively dealing with them. And when we deal with things, that we can heal from them. So it's designed for you to just have some time to discuss. Okay? So I'm going to start the conversation. I did something today. It made my whole day. Let me tell you. I bought this Bible, right? I love Bibles. So if you know anything about Robin, I love Bibles. And today, this Bible is a cultural background Bible. It is so amazing. I was just doing some reading before I got on, and it was just like blowing my mind. And so many times when we read the Word of God, or when we hear people talk about the Scriptures, people are talking about it from a judgmental perspective. And a lot of times people don't know the cultural background behind the Scripture. So there's so many things that come to light about about the scripture, and getting that Bible is going to help me have more insight on what the cultural background is, so that people can stop hurting people with the word of God. Like, I don't know about you, but I've listened to people try to speak to me and say negative stuff, with the word of God. And so definitely bringing that out. Bringing that out. So it's very important that that we talk about that, because there are a lot of people who talk a lot of stuff about the scriptures, and they have no idea what the cultural background was at that moment, and they find themselves in a place where they're judgy and they're hurting people, and there's spiritual abuse that comes in because they don't have a clear understanding of the word of God. So I am starting the conversation with that. Do you have something for me? If not, we're going to keep this conversation going. I see people chiming in and out. I'm not sure if there's a connection issue. I will say that I'm in a very different location. So if there is a connection issue, let me know. Oh, Tasha, you need the Bible. We got to get you one of them children's Bible with the pictures. It's okay. We'll find you a children's Bible. Hey, everybody learns in different ways. So definitely bringing that out. If there's a connection issue, let me know, because I'm in a very different place. I'm in a very different place, and I definitely want to share and see how you all are doing. Your connection is fine. Awesome. So we just have folks on Sunday dinner today. Anyways, Hour of Power is designed for folks to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. If you're friends with Dolores, I need you to tag Dolores, because Dolores asked about Hour of Power today. That's very important. Definitely we want folks to get on board. But Hour of Power is so very important, because we are able to talk about what it is that's going on in our lives, stuff that we may not be able to tell our families, stuff that we may not be able to tell close friends, stuff that we are not able to tell people that we love the most. Is so very important that we recognize. Thank you so much, Tasha. It's so very important that we recognize that is so much power in talking about things. We talk about this probably in our earlier video series, but there are people who hold things in, right? And when you hold things in, you're not really dealing with them. And when you don't deal with them, then you can't heal from them. And it becomes so painful. And so recognizing that this Hour of Power is designed for you to talk about the greatest thing in the world, and the most unfortunate thing in the world. We could talk about that. Why? Because as you're talking about it, you can deal with it and you can heal from it. That's so very important. So I have folks on now. I want to propose to you. Is there anything that you want to talk about today? I never know what people are going to talk about. I'm just like navigating the conversation. But if there's something you want to talk about, I am more than happy to take in your question. We could talk about it. I'm going to give y'all some moments while I drink my water. Y'all know how I feel about water. So let me drink my water. Okay, so greetings everyone who is just joining. We are on the Hour of Power. I'm going to keep repeating myself. I'm going to be like a broken record. You're going to know exactly what I'm going to say. But we're on Hour of Power. If there's anything that you want to share today, you're more than welcome to do so. There have been a lot of folks who hit me up recently asking for prayer. So I know that there's a lot of things that are going on. And if you choose not to talk about it, you're more than welcome not to talk about it. But for folks who want to share, it could be something that happened this week. It doesn't even have to be a negative thing. It could be a praise report. We like to hear all of those things. We like to engage. This is a moment of engagement that we have for you to be able to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. You could be able to say, you know what, I'm having a horrible day and I just need prayer. We're going to pray for you. We're going to do all of that. Why? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to help you get free. Okay, so definitely I'm excited about that. We have 4 people on. I don't hear nobody talking. Y'all right? Say something. Talk to me. I want to know that you're out there. I want to know that you're good. If you're good, we could get up off the Hour of Power. Definitely. I don't have really anything. I told you about the Bible I bought. That was my door opener for a conversation. But if folks are good, we can log off and we can carry on with our Sunday, because it's so very important that we be mindful of your time as well. So we definitely are here, Hour of Power. Happy to just talk with you, pray with you. Happy to just say, you know what, this is something going on. Or there's nothing going on. I'm in a great space. We can talk about that too. So Hour of Power is designed for you to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Share whatever you want to share. This is your blah moment. You know, when you have a blurt out moment and you just like word vomit, where you just say things and it's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that all of that was in me. This is your opportunity to do that if you feel comfortable. So for everyone who's out there, hello I'm so very happy that you decided to join the Hour of Power. We are here to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. This is your space, so you're more than welcome to make it yours. So I appreciate everybody for listening. Okay, Eve, I'm going to need you to, Now, see, now they got a little tood with you, Eve, because you know you're supposed to be on. And you and EJ and Wilson, I need y'all on here. But how you doing, Eve? I'm just joking. I hope all is well. You know what we do? This is Hour of Power. Y'all, did anything come up for y'all this week? Is anything going on right now? Talk to me. I want to know you out there. I want to know that you're out there. I want to know that you're alive, you're well, you're happy. Let's do a one-word check-in. How's everybody feeling today? It is Sunday. Let's start there. How is everyone feeling? Good. I'm feeling great. I just started feeling great. My day was kind of iffy. Hey, Shanice. Absolutely, Shanice, we will definitely be in prayer for you. I definitely know that what you may be experiencing can be difficult. It can be hard. It can produce a lot of questions. It can produce a lot of fear. We're going to be praying with you in that context because we know that as that situation is rough, we know that God can do all things but fail. So I want to let you know that we are sending you love, light, positive vibes and energy to you and your partner. We're so very grateful that you would even share that. It's a very hurtful experience, I know, but I promise you, if you keep your head up, things will get brighter. And so we're definitely praying for you. We're sending love and light and energy your way. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. You can reach out even off the video, because that's very important that you know that you have a support and our team of folks who just love you. That's all we know how to do. We just know how to love. Speaking of love, and speaking of knowing how to love, can anybody tell me, like, what like when you think about the term love, what does that mean for you? What does the term love mean for you when you think about love? When someone says I love you, what captivates you about that term? Can we talk about that for just a door opener? What captivates you about I love you? Is there a certain expectation that comes with the term I love you? Is there something that comes up for you when you hear someone say I love you? Do you have a certain level of trust for someone who says they love you? Can we talk about that for a second? Okay. Well, I'm waiting on the answers to that. I'm going to respond to Eve's message. My daughter's graduation was yesterday. That's right. I forgot about that. Congratulations. Did pick her up for school's project graduation. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. I'm so very happy. I know that you had told me about that. I'm so very happy that she graduated. It was a great day. I know that you're probably going through some mixed emotions, but just continue to keep your head up. It's gonna be all right. You got Wilson and EJ to take care of. So definitely excited about hearing about that. It's so very good to see our young people graduate and move on to different things. We term it as adulting, moving on to higher things. So thank you so much for sharing that, Eve. Okay, I have 2 people actively speaking and 5 people watching. Are y'all scared of me today? Yeah, she did. She absolutely did. She looked very beautiful. The question I asked earlier was, when you think about the word love, when you hear someone say, I love you, when you hear someone say, I love you so much, what do you expect from that person? What comes up for you when you talk about love? Eve says trust. And there are different levels of love. So we can talk about that. Like, what are the different levels of love? What comes up for you when you hear the word love? Is it just platonic? Is it something that's more intimate? Like, what comes up for you? What do you expect from a person that tells you that they love you? That's the question. What do you expect from a person that tells you that they love you? Is there any level of expectation, or do you just take the word love and say, okay, well, they love me. Okay, I love you too. But what does it mean? And the reason why I asked this question Okay, thank you for your honesty, Teresina. The reason why I asked this question is because a lot of us don't know, and I appreciate your transparency in every way. So many times we'll use the term I love you, but don't really know what that word means. We don't know what love is supposed to show up as. And because we don't know what love shows up as, oftentimes we hear people use their lip service and their follow-up is not consistent with that. And so we find ourselves in a place where we can believe the words I love you, but we don't know what the actions of love is supposed to do to follow up. And so that's a very important question that we should be asking ourselves, because people use the word I love you so fast. We use it quickly. We use it in a way that just would kind of be manipulative in some forms for folks who are not healed and healthy. And it can throw a lot of people off when we talk about the term love. And people don't know what the actions are supposed to be. So I'm going to go back to some comments. Eve says, I only expect to be able to trust this person. Okay. Tasha says, honesty. Shanice says, when I hear someone say they love me, I honestly want to know what they want from me. Okay. So you feel like that comes with a level of so when someone says I love you, that they want something from you. Okay. Teresina says, for family and friends, I feel that it means a deep bond, a connection that is unbreakable. At the same thing, hearing I love you doesn't bring up excitement because people say it like, absolutely. And so that's the point. People say I love you a lot. So what is it that you would need from someone? And this is a good question. I want you all to kind of engage and answer. What is it that you need from someone who tells you that they love you? And that could be family, friends, co-workers. That could be anybody. So when someone says that they love you, what is it that you need from them? Because oftentimes when we don't know what we need from people, absolutely, Eve, it's an action word. When we don't know what we need from people, we'll tolerate anything in the name of love. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good thing. Sometimes in the name of love, we tolerate a lot of crap. And so talking about what it is that you need is so very important. Understanding your needs is so very important, because if you don't know what you need, then they can't love you on the capacity of what you would want them to love you as. So when you hear someone say, I love you, if I was to say, I love you right now, what is it that you would want me to do to show my love? It's not just about what I say, but what would you want a person to do to show their love for you? Does that make sense? We're going somewhere. Do I need to say it again? If a person says I love you, what is it that you need from them to show you? Okay, Tasha said they may not actually love you back, though. They may not. Okay, Teresina, I need that person to respect me, appreciate me, and take me as I am. Okay. Okay. That's real. Any other answers? So when we think about love, we expect people to we have a natural expectation that people's their actions line up with the word love. And I appreciate your answer, Teresina, because you're very it's kind of vague, but very kind of vague and specific at the same time. Okay, Jay, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. I like that answer. But to respect and appreciate and take you as you are. And again, that can be very vague. So a person could be like, what does that mean, take you as I am, or take you as you are? But you're still putting out a directive. You still have an idea of what it is you want. And that's a great example, because there's so many of us who want love but don't know how we want it to show up in our lives. And that is so very powerful. And I want you to understand that just because you have a desire for love does not mean that it's going to show up in the way that you may want it. But that's why it's so important that you know what it is that you want. You know how it is that you want to be treated. It's important that you know the expectations that you have for people who say that they love you, because if you don't know, you'll tolerate anything in the name of love, and sometimes it leads down a road of hurt. It leads down a road of brokenness. It leads down a road of something that you may not have had to go through if you were able to define your term of love, because you have the ability to set the tone for how people treat you. And oftentimes we're unable to have people or teach people how to love us because we struggle with loving ourselves. And so that is so important to identify and recognize. You have to know what it is that you want from someone. You cannot just say, you know what, I just need love. What kind of love do you need? Because somebody could hit you and say that they love you, right? And that doesn't always mean that it is, well, we obviously know that that's not genuine. But so it's very important that you understand what it is that you want within yourself, so you can communicate to someone else, so that the term love is not used in this way that it just, it's become the cultural norm. It's about as normal as me drinking water right now. It's so natural. It's like, okay, well, the term I love you is just a huge term that just comes out and everybody just talks about it all the time. But there are not a lot of people who know how to love, because they struggle with that love within themselves. So I'm going to go back to Jay's comment because it was really good. Jay said, my first question would be, what do you love about me? I like that. I like that. What do you love about me? I ask that a lot. Actually, Jay, I ask that a lot. What is it that you love about me? Because I want to make sure that someone who tells me that they love me more from just beyond what they see here, right? I want to know that somebody loves me on a whole different level, because that's very important. It's important for me to receive love because someone desires me internally. Like, they want to know who I am and what I'm about on a different level, not just surface level, if that makes sense. So yes, I think asking follow-up questions is so very important. And how often do we ask our partners or people or family or different people, like whoever comes into our lives, friends, why is it that you love me? And understanding their answer. Sometimes we just take their words and be like, yes, they said they love me, right? But how many people are in abusive relationships right now in the name of their partner loving them? And it could be easily distorted if we're not careful about what it is that we need. We have to be able to communicate what we need. This is an internal work. We are going to challenge you at the Breaking Chains Project to do some internal work, to dissect what it is that you need. What is it that you need to continue to keep thriving? Okay, so Eve says, I need that person to show me by being honest with me, good or bad. They should trust me, to even if it's something as simple as giving corrective criticism. Absolutely. And that is a great, what's the term I'm looking for? Hold on. That is a great, directive is not the best word. I'm having a brain freeze, but that's okay. That is like very clear and concise. Right? You're able to say, this is what I need from you. I need you to love me where I am. Right? And that's so very important. Hey, Christian. Hey. I need you to love me for who I am. And that's very important. Okay? And so I really appreciate your answer, Eve. Teresina says, take me as I am, meaning love me with or without my makeup. That is so true. I would love to say something, but I'm going to keep it here. Love me with or without. Okay. Pick it up. Absolutely. So in other words, loving me through thick and thin. Loving me through everything that I show up as. However I show up, I need you to love me. And that's good. I appreciate that. Eve says, I'm more of a why person. Why is not a bad question. So since I asked, like, why do you love me? And if you ask enough questions, people will tell on themselves. Okay. Kenosha says, sometimes people will not feel like you are loving them because it's not how they want to be loved. But the other person is loving them the way they know how. When I tell my wife I love her, it is an unconditional love that I keep. Okay. And you're honest with her. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. Sometimes people will not feel like you are loving them because it's not how they want to be loved. That is very true. So then let me ask you the question. So is it important to communicate how it is that you want to be loved? I'm asking you, Kenosha, and everybody else on the live. Is it important for you to know how it is that you want to be loved? And that's a very deep question. Is it okay to communicate what it is that you need from someone else? Because oftentimes if people feel like they're not being loved in the way that they want, there's one or two things going on. One, the person is communicating what they feel and their partner is not honoring that. Or two, they're not able to communicate what it is they feel because they don't know what it is that they need. So there's a lot of things that could be happening in the midst of that. So it's so important that we're able to identify what it is that we need from our partners. When our partners say, I love you, what is it that you need for them to show you that love? And that's a very important question that a lot of us don't know how to ask. For years, I didn't know how to ask that question. And so it is important that you are able to recognize what it is that you need from the person that says that they love you. Otherwise, you'll just be settling. And that could become a whole another scope. Okay. Christian, I'm so very happy you're on. Aw. Okay. Tasha says communication is important. Libra, hey, how are you? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. No worries, you're late. It's okay. We got started about maybe 10 minutes ago. So it's no worries. We appreciate that you're on now. Eve says, I think that goes back to asking why. Why is not a bad question. It's not. And I know, we think about when you ask the question why, that little child that's like 5 years old, like why? And why? And why? And it becomes annoying to the point where you're like, oh my God, if you ask why again, I'm going to lose my mind. But why can bring a lot of things to light. And so I appreciate children who ask. And a lot of times people think that the children are being disrespectful. For me, I think that they're being inquisitive. They're trying to understand what it is that's going on. And so asking the question why, when I ask people why, you'd be surprised at the answers that you get, because a lot of people are not prepared to answer the why because they're just focused on the words. And so many of us are living in relationships focusing on the words that people say and not their actions. And we find ourselves broken, hurt, confused, full of anguish, depressed, suicidal, all of these things that are going on because we were not able to communicate what we needed and they were not able to execute what it was that they were saying. Oh, that was a mouthful right there. Now, I would never be able to repeat that, but I hope that y'all press rewind and hit that again, because that was really, really good. We're not able to communicate what we need, and they're not able to execute what it is that they are saying. And so it's so important. And Jay, if they get upset when you ask why, that should be a sign for you, because that means most people do not defend what the truth is. If they love you, they're like, okay, well, I love you because XYZ, left, right, up, and down. And if they're getting upset because you're asking why, that could be a clear sign that this person may not be able to love you the way you want. You'd be surprised when you ask the question why, how many people would be like, because I just do. No, that's not a good enough answer. I mean, for some it may be, but for me, it's not. I need you to come to me, and when you tell me that you love me, I need to know why. Why? Because I'm not going to waste energy and time on something or someone that is just not good for me. And if we're not having these conversations, we'll settle for a whole bunch of people that are not good for us. Okay? I'm not trying to preach today. I'm really not. So Jay says, you have to communicate, because if I feel I don't say anything and it doesn't work, it's my fault. Absolutely. But here's the thing. This is so good. Some of us are holding people accountable for things that we haven't even communicated about. I need you to hear that. I'm going to repeat that one. Some of us are holding people accountable for things that we have not even been able to communicate to them about. So we're mad at our loved ones. We're mad at people for not loving us or honoring us where we are, right? We're mad at that. But have you communicated what you needed for them? And that's the key. We are sometimes incapable of communicating what it is that we need from people. And we get mad at them for not executing. We cannot learn off of osmosis. We can't lay our head down and just learn something. We have to understand and be able to actively communicate. If you was in class right now, if you were in school and your teacher just stood in front of you and y'all just sat there, how are you going to learn something? There's no exchange in communication. There's no exchange in information. Same thing in relationships. If you're just looking at your partner and just said, I love you. I just love you so much. I just love you. Oh my God, you're just so amazing. And we're just saying all of these great things, and we're not having effective communication, it's bound to go sour. And that's what a lot of people do. And we stay in our emotions so much. We're in our emotions so often that we will allow our emotions to cloud our logic. We would be like, you know what? They love me and I just feel the passion. That's great. But at the end of that passion, you got to have a conversation. Because if you're not having a conversation, when that passion is over, your relationship is over. Okay, so moving on. Eve Dallas says, I always say liars don't like to be questioned. No, because they got to figure out another lie to keep the lie going. You're absolutely right. Kenosha says, if a person is broken, then it would be hard for them to give a clear, definitive way of how they need to be loved. And see, this is so very good. I love the fact that you just said that, Kenosha. Some of us are entering into relationships broken. And when we're unable to communicate what it is that we need in a broken place, we're not going to get to a place of healing. Because oftentimes we will look for our partners to give us the things that we're not giving ourselves. And we find ourselves in a rut when our partners are not able to execute what it is that we need. When our family members, when people that we love are not able to execute what we need, it's because we're not giving it to ourselves. When you are broken, and I'm not saying that every broken person can't enter into a relationship. Hear me. I'm not saying that. But when you are in a broken place, it is going to be very hard for you to communicate what it is that you need. So you're going to find yourself still not in a good place. Why? Because you're not communicating what you need. And it's usually because you don't know what you need. That's why it's so important to take time out for yourself to heal. Because when you're able to heal, you can now communicate effectively. And when you communicate effectively, you can hold that person accountable for how they love or not love you. You have the choice as to how you communicate. And I hear your heart. I hear your heart, Kenosha. You have the choice. And I'm not saying this directly to you. I'm talking in general. We have the choice on whether we want to communicate our needs or not. And our partners have a choice whether or not they want to execute them or not. And we have to recognize our rights in the relationship. And we can no longer hold our partners accountable for things we're not communicating about. And if you are not able to communicate because you are broken, then that may be a clear sign that this is not the time for a relationship. Because if you're broken and you're relying on a partner to build you up and make all the pieces together, you're only going to be as healed as your partner allows you to be. And so you're still not free to be yourself in the relationship. You become connected to them in a way where your identity is now based in them. And that can lead to a whole nother place. So I hope that makes sense. So Libra says, holding people accountable without communication equals unrealistic expectations. Absolutely. It leads to unrealistic expectations. And you know how I have been in relationships where I would not been able to communicate what it is that I needed. And I would have an attitude. I'll be mad, just fighting mad at people. And it's like, they don't even know there's a problem. Because as long as you're not communicating, they feel like things are right. And so, and this could be family members. This could be friends. This could be your coworkers. This could be your job. This is so many other things. So, we have 10 people on. Did y'all share the video yet? Y'all got to share the video. Okay, so share the video. And I want us to kind of, we could keep this conversation going because I think that the love conversation is so important because it's something that's happening a lot. You know, people sometimes come in my inbox and they'll say something like, you know, my partner said that they loved me. Oh my God, they loved me. And so how could they hurt me if they love me? Like, I just trusted that they loved me. And we're trusting in words and their actions. Some of us are ignoring the actions for the sake of trusting the words. That's opposite of what we should be doing. Oh, Christian, you are so amazing. Oh, hey, Christian. It's so important that we recognize. See, I told you, Christian, you was going to still see me. I know I'm not there anymore, but you're still going to see me. And definitely recognizing that some of us are unable to communicate. We're unable to move forward in relationship in a healthy way because we're still broken. We're in a place where we can't talk about what it is that we need. And it's important that we recognize that. Okay? So this is the hour of power. Let me tell you what the hour of power is for folks who are just joining for the first time. Hour of power is an hour where we are able to talk about whatever is on our mind. Okay? So we started the conversation on love. Okay? We started the conversation on love, and I was talking about my Bible. Because I like reading the Bible and I like this new Bible that I got. I'm very excited about that. We were talking about a lot of things coming up. But in the midst of what's going on, I want to now open the floor for anyone that's out there. If you want to share something, you can share. It could be the greatest thing that's happening in your life. It could be the worst thing. It could be a praise report. It can be anything that you feel. If you feel comfortable enough or you want to share, if you have a question, you're more than welcome to ask the question. It's 11 of us in here. We're going to try to support you as much as we can. If you're having a hard time, the reason why we have the hour of power is to give people time to cleanse before the beginning of the week. So many of us are bottled down by the beginning of the week. Monday is like the dreadful day of the whole entire week because it's like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get my life together. And this is the time for us to be able to talk about what it is that's going on so that we can find a way to get ourselves together so that we can continue to tackle this thing called life. And oftentimes we will be in a place where we want to give up because we don't have outlets, safe outlets to talk about the simple things that are just going on in our lives. So again, if anyone has any comments, questions, concerns, any thoughts, you are more than welcome to share it right now under this video. You all know I'm very interactive. I love to have conversation with you, not talk at you. So definitely you're more than welcome to continue the conversation. If you want to keep the conversation going on love, let me know something. It's 9 of y'all out there. Share the video if you're able to. If not, that's okay. We just want to get folks engaged. We want to give folks a safe space to talk because it's so very important, okay? Tasha says, my ex says she loved me all the time and turned around and cheated every chance she got with the same woman. She told me she loved us both, the other woman. Okay, so how did that make you feel? It sounds like it was a lot going on. How did that make you feel in having that conversation with your partner? And she's saying, you know, I love you. I just want to be in your life. Da 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 da. And she consistently cheated and she consistently stepped out. How did that make you feel? Is there any other questions or comments while we're waiting on Tasha to respond? You're more than welcome. Even if I put a hold on what you say, I definitely will get a chance to talk back to it. Tasha says, hurt, angry. I felt like she didn't love me. Were you were you able to communicate? I don't want to have this like one going conversation. Okay, thank you, Libra. Libra chimed in and said the same thing happened to me. It's like the person is saying I love you, but their actions is saying maybe I don't. And what do you do with that? Or in Libra, I want to ask you and Tasha this question, and anybody else who may be going through this, and you don't have to answer this out loud. You can answer this within yourself. Were you able to communicate were you able to communicate what it was that you wanted from your partner? Tasha, when your partner said, I loved you, and you found out that she cheated, were you able to communicate that wasn't okay? Because, and I'm not saying that none of this is your fault at all. And I do believe that sometimes when we communicate boundaries, sometimes people are not capable of meeting our expectation or meeting what it is that we need. And that's also another sign that we should look at. Sometimes we give people the benefit of the doubt in our conversations, and honestly, that can lead to a road of more hurt. It can lead to a road of more confusion, because it's like, well, they keep telling me that they love me, and I hear that. And when we communicate a boundary, like, this is not okay. I don't want you to be with anyone else. We're in a committed relationship, and if you share that with your partner and they step out again, and that's your boundary being violated, now you have the option of saying, you know what, I cannot do this. And oftentimes we won't get to that point of I can't do this because we have so much hope that our partners are going to change. We have so much hope that family members are going to change. We have so much hope that our friends are going to change. And we stay in these toxic relationships with that hope, and it never gets us anywhere but a broken heart. Tasha says, I communicated all the time. She just didn't care, but she yelled she loved me. I don't think she knew how. And that may be true. It is so often that many people say, I love you. And that's what we were sharing earlier. We say, I love you. And there are a lot of us who don't know how to love. We do not know how to execute that. And that is a sign. That's why we need to be having communication with our partners from the day one, you know, beyond the intimacy, beyond the singing together and kikiing and joking all the time. Beyond all that, we need to be having real life conversations, because our hearts are on the line. And so many of us, I would rather break my own heart and pull away from a relationship that I know is not good for me than allow someone else to break my heart knowingly. And that is a very tough place to be, but it is real, right? It's real. And so oftentimes we would find ourselves in places where we compromise what it is that we want from another, because we have not, or we either, we're afraid to be alone. All of these things, all of these factors that can take place that would keep us in a relationship. Okay. So I appreciate you for sharing that. Libra says, I had to look out for myself at the end of the day, and distance myself. She lied to me so often, and I can't communicate to someone. There you have it. It's hard to communicate to someone that you don't trust. And when you don't trust a person, when you feel like they don't have your best interest in mind, then you're putting yourself out there trying to communicate. And so you made an executive decision, Libra. You made the decision that I don't have to deal with this. And that's a powerful decision that some people may need to know. And I appreciate you for sharing your story, because some people need to know, how do I make a decision for me? Oftentimes when we're in relationships, we lose ourselves in our partners. We lose our identities, or our identities quickly mesh with our partners, and we find we don't know where they end and we begin. And so it makes it even more difficult to separate from that. We call that a soul tie. It's so difficult to separate from that. But it sounds like, Libra, you made an executive decision that, you know what, this person is not meeting my needs. They are not their words are not in line with their actions, and now I have to do something about this for myself. And so I definitely appreciate you for sharing that. And that's going to help some people who may say, you know what, I do not know how to get out of this relationship. I do not know how to communicate my needs. I don't know how to do these things. And this video is going to help you today. If you're just joining now, I would encourage you to watch a little later. We'll talk about this on whatever day we need to. We'll talk about this more. Why? Because a lot of people need to understand that it's more than just words when we talk about love. It's an action word. Okay. Tasha says, yeah, I can't deal with anyone saying they love me. You have to show it with action. Absolutely. And that's your boundary. That is your standard. And I appreciate you for sharing that. Libra, sometimes as women, we make decisions based on our emotions, and we're changing that first high, and we lose our logic to save ourselves. So what you're saying is a lot of people are in relationships, and instead of, making a logical, a rational decision, like saying, you know what, this is not good for me, I need to make a decision to leave, we would base our decision on our emotions. And that happens often. Definitely. Women, I think it happens with feminine identified folks. I think it happens with masculine identified folks. I think it happens in many different identities. Oftentimes people would make the decision to stay than to leave because of whatever things that may be going on with them. And that can lead to a toxic relationship. And so definitely appreciating your comment. And love is one of those things that, it's to me, I say this: love is not a feeling, it's a knowing, right? And I know people are like, what does that mean? Love is not a feeling. Like, to me, it's not an emotion, because when I'm mad, that should not dictate my love for someone. That should not change my love for someone. When I am sad, it should not change my love for that person. Love is a knowing. It's through thick and thin. I love you. I care about you. I'm genuinely concerned about you. And that's my version of love. But when people base love on a feeling, that means that it can fluctuate just like the wind. It can fluctuate when good days are happening, that the person really loves the person. And it can fluctuate and turn into garbage when the person is angry. And that is not, my friends, love. That is something else. And so definitely recognizing that it can show up in many different ways, but ignoring the signs only hurt us more. And oftentimes when I talk to folks who have been in abusive relationships, when I talk to folks who are in places there that they've endured quite a bit in a relationship, oftentimes when they step out of that relationship, they're able to see the signs that, you know what, this was toxic from day one, but I made the decision to stay, and it ended up hurting me. So definitely recognizing the signs. And sometimes that comes in going through a relationship that goes not so well, to realize and recognize what the signs are so that you don't fall into that trap again. So Jay says, my brother's new wife said that my partner at the time could not come to my grandbaby's birthday party in a public place. Then she didn't understand why I backed up. She said she loves me. She said she loves me, but I felt she was judging me. Okay. So your brother's new wife, that's who you're talking about. You felt like loved you, but is judging you. Okay, so we're talking about now a familial relationship, like a family-based relationship, not just an intimate, not an intimate partner relationship. But in a family relationship, it can definitely happen. The judgment and people who come in and they have their own views about things, and it can impact who you are. So I'm in a very unfortunate situation that happened. One of the things that I appreciate, somebody just said this to me, probably a couple hours ago. They were like, the blessing is that people show you when people show you who they are to your face, then you now you have face value. It's face value. Now you can make an executive decision, and you chose to step back, Jay, because of that situation. But there are other folks, the ones that you should be worried about, the people who are being deceptive behind your back, like being deceptive behind your back. And I really appreciate that part of advice, because oftentimes when we think about relationships with family, when we think about relationships with our friends and just intimate partner relationships, people are often showing us who they are in the beginning, and we're making the conscious decision. Sometimes it's the unconscious decision to say, you know what, this is who they are, and we settle for that. And that's why we go back to the beginning of the conversation. For those who are just joining, it's so important that we recognize, right? It's so important that we recognize what it is that we need in a relationship, because if we know what we need in a relationship from the gate, we're able to communicate our needs and our expectations. Sorry, it's an ambulance. God bless wherever they're going. But we're able to communicate our needs, and we're able to receive what it is that we need from our partners or our family members or whoever. And when they're in a position where they're not able to give that to us, then we can make the executive decision to pull away or to protect ourselves and to guard ourselves, because that's very important. Some of us have been in relationships where we've had our heart broken often, and we don't even know how to communicate because we're so afraid of having our heart broken. And that also can lead to a rough road. And so we're just helping folks and giving folks tools needed to be able to communicate their needs. And that requires you to spend some time with yourself. How do you know what you need if you don't know what you need? How do you know what you need if you're not able to sit in alone with yourself and talk about what it is that you need? Speak to yourself, affirm yourself, love yourself, take a bath by yourself, and just honor yourself. And if we're not able to talk and have conversations with ourselves, we're not able to have we're not going to be able to give other people tools to help them love us. Okay, so I want to definitely bring that out, because so many of us lack in that area, and it's something that can be fixed. We just have to have the tools necessary. So when you have time to yourself, and that's again what we do at the Break and Chase Project, we challenge you to have a relationship with yourself and to do inner work. Right? We don't say click your feet 3 times and say what they say on Wizard of Oz, I wish I was home, whatever it was, and there's no place like home. We don't say click your feet 3 times and say that and then you get fixed and you get healed. No, we say you have to go deeper into the inner work. Find the root cause of what it is that's going on and deal with that. When you're able to deal with what hurt you, when you're able to deal with what broke you, when you're able to deal with all of the pain on the inside, you'll find yourself able to process what it is that you need in order to be well. When you're in a healthy place, you're able to effectively communicate what it is that you need from others. And not only are you able to effectively communicate, you are able to now hold people accountable when they don't treat you the way, and that's not mean. It's not like I'm going to exile you because you didn't love me. No, it's saying, listen, this is what I need, and you're unable to execute that. This may not be the best relationship for me. And you're able to walk away from things and be able to put yourself in a position where it's no longer getting the best of you. How many relationships have you been in where they've gotten the best of you because something just didn't seem right, and your partner seemed like they seemed okay at one moment, and then the next moment they were somebody else, or your family member. One moment they were good, the next minute they were not, and you find yourself broken time after time because you are in a position where you're like, I don't even know what love is. How many times have you gone through a relationship you're like, I don't even know what love is anymore? And that's hard. Thank you, Dolores. There's no place like home. There's an inner work that has to be done in order for us to be in a healthy relationship. There's a hearty work that we have to do within ourselves. What is it that you need? If I said to you right now, if I gave you a quiz and said, tell me 5 things that you need from your partner, would you be able to answer that question? Or from your future partner? And this is not a shaming moment. This is an educational moment. We're helping you to see that, man, you know what? I don't know what it is I want. I've told myself that, like, I have no clue as to what it is that I want. I went to counseling. I did all of these things, and I did things to help discover myself or rediscover myself. And now I could communicate effectively what I want. Not only can I communicate effectively what I want, but I can also set a boundary for people who don't honor what it is that I want. And oftentimes that's the place where we fall short. And it's a work, y'all. I still mess up. I ain't gonna say, oh, I'm this perfect person. I still don't make the best decisions when it comes to things, but I'm learning by the day. And I don't allow that broken relationship to keep me down. I use that as a tool to say, you know what? That's exactly what I don't want. So I'm going to move forward. Dolores says, no, Raman, I cannot do it. Many times it's superficial instead of spiritual. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What do you mean when you say it's superficial instead of spiritual? Y'all, we have about 13 more minutes. This is a good conversation. I never know what we're going to talk about at the hour of power. But I really appreciate you all for liking and sharing the video and your comments and different things like that. This conversation is so very important because there are a lot of us who are looking for love and don't even know how love will show up in our lives. Don't even know how we want love to show up in our lives. Trinia, if I said your name wrong, I apologize. You said, we've all been in that broken place before. If not yet, it will be. It's life. I believe it's in that place that we have to regroup and find ourselves, learn to love ourselves first. Absolutely. And find the key to become. Yes, absolutely. Find the key. I like that. I just want you to know I like to borrow that. I may post it on my page. We have to find the key to become unbroken. That means that we have to really dig deep and first of all, we got to make the decision that we're not going to be broken anymore. And so many of us say, oh, I'm not broken. I'm good. But we enter relationships broken and it breaks us the more. So we are dealing with years of brokenness that we need to fix from the first person that broke our heart. And we got 15 other partners after that that's broke our hearts more and more and more. And we're dealing with layers and layers of brokenness. We have to decide, first of all, I'm not going to allow brokenness to run me anymore. And maybe we'll do a segment on what brokenness is so we can break that down and really understand what it even means to be broken. Because some of us think that, when somebody, my heart is broken and okay, we're broken and that's it, right? And it's like, brokenness can be a very beautiful thing. And I say this all the time to people who I work with, I have the privilege of working with. When you are broken, it's like a plate. Like if you go in your kitchen, don't do it. But if you go into your kitchen, you drop a plate on the floor, it's broken. But the amazing thing about a broken plate is that it's still a plate. And it can find its use again by piecing it back together. And that's how we are sometimes. We have to make the decision that, boom, I'm that shattered plate. But I can, with the help of God or my higher power, with the help of all of these people who love me, I can now piece myself back together and become whole again. Some of us stay at broken and we live there. You cannot live in a broken place anymore. It is time. Thank you so much for that comment. That just blessed my whole spirit. We have to find the key to become unbroken. We have to make the decision to say, I'm not going to allow this to drive me anymore. You cannot enter another relationship broken. Kanisha says, I deal with this type of thing with my relatives. They always have something to say about my wife, and every chance they get, I love them, but they have no love in them for me, and I am fine. My mom, I always lose my thought. I'm sorry. My mom, who's a double amputee, says to me after a 12-hour cramp bus ride, stayed up all night until they took her to surgery. When she came out, she said she didn't want me there, and she wanted my little sister. It hurt my heart so bad, but I still love them with no malice. I love everyone who has a problem with my wife and I from a distance. See, you have to make the choice. Like, you have to make that decision. And Kenosha, thank you for sharing that, because I want people to see that it's not just a relational, relationship, intimate partner relationship type of need or type of ailment. It can also be with family members, with friends, with people who shade us, different things that happen in our lives, with people who hurt us and break our hearts. It can happen in every relationship. And if you know who you are and you're confident in who you are, you will not tolerate people who treat you less than what you treat yourself. And that, I need to say that again. When you're in a place where you can communicate with yourself and you know what it is that you need and you're in tune with your inner you will not let people treat you less than how you treat yourself. And sometimes the reason why people are able to treat us in a place that is so painful is because we've lost touch with ourselves, and we don't even know how to make ourselves happy. We don't know how to connect with ourselves, and that could be a hurtful place. And recognizing that, wait, I need to pull away from this, and I need to take some time for me to understand what it is that I want, what it is that I need, so that I can be a better person. So that I can be a better person that can communicate what it is that I need from the people that say they love me. Okay? Dolores said, I need someone to help me and be a part of me. Okay? But what part of me, a second, what is the second half? Peel off one layer at a time. I'm trying to connect what it is that you're saying, Dolores. You say you need someone to help you and be a part of you. Can we dig deeper into that real quick? If you can, before we end this video, can you tell me what it means to have someone to be a part of you, to help you and be a part of you? What does that mean for you? Okay. I want to break down what it is that you're saying. Okay. Eve, 5 things I need from a future partner. 1, needs to be sure and accepting in her relationship with God and her sexuality. 2, 3, love self. 4, trustworthy. She needs respect. And this is in response to the question I asked earlier. I said, if I asked you the question, what is 5 things that you need from your partner? Someone who says that they love you, would you be able to tell me? And I thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you for sharing that out loud. And there are a lot of people who may be thinking on it, and you don't have to share it out loud, but I want you to think about these things. When I give you little nuggets, I want you to think about these things and say, man, what is it that I need? And guess what? It's going to change with different people, right? It may change. as time changes, you may evolve and you may say, you know what, beyond communication, I need healthy communication. Your needs may change, and you having the ability to communicate that is so very important. So thank you so much for sharing that, Eve. Dolores says, oftentimes you list things that are things that you can do yourself. The other half should complete to make you whole. Okay. I am really struggling with recognizing what you're saying. Oftentimes you list things that are things that you can do for yourself, and the other half should complete to make you. So are you saying that people should be listing things for themselves, or people should be listing things for the partner to kind of chime in and you all complete together? If that makes sense. So I'm kind of trying to find your catch point, but basically, are you saying that when people are able to communicate their needs, they should be communicating needs based on their individual needs or the relational needs? Does that make sense? Because I want to make sure I'm with you. Okay. Forgiveness is the one free thing that we don't take enough of. You know what? You just hit it. You preaching tonight. I really appreciate you. Trinia. Please tell me if I'm saying it wrong, and you can just spell it out as to how I'm supposed to pronounce it, because I definitely want to make sure I get your name right. But definitely putting that out there. Some of us have not forgiven ourselves, and we want people to love us, and we're still punishing ourselves internally for things that's gone wrong in other aspects of our lives. And we have to learn how to forgive. And you're absolutely right. It is freeing, and it is very powerful, and it can be rejuvenating. It can be life-changing. We have to not only forgive the people who broke us, or in some capacity, we have to forgive ourselves for allowing ourselves to be broken. And that can be very hard. We can say, oh yeah, I forgive them, and you can keep moving and change your number and all that other stuff and get over that person. But when it comes to yourself, you got to live with you every day. And in order to be in tune with what it is that you want, hey Jennifer, in order to be in tune with what it is that you want, you have to be able to forgive yourself. Absolutely. I'm definitely appreciating the conversation. We have about 5 minutes left, but I appreciate each and every one of you all. I want you to know that you're beautiful. And this conversation can continue to go on and on and on and on and on. The Lord says, share the things I like. Not looking for a super person, just someone to be there for me and not judge me. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you want someone to share. Trina. Okay, thank you. That's so simple. Because I say names based on what it is that I see. And I know sometimes I could be off. So I thank you, Trina. Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Trina, for your feedback. You have a lot of wisdom, and I appreciate you for sharing it on our page tonight, blessing us with your wisdom. Dolores, share the thing. You're looking for someone to share the things that you like. Not looking for a super person, and just someone to be there and not judge. That's very simple, and I appreciate you for sharing that. Something. We were talking, Jennifer, tonight about love, but one of the things that stood out to me, and I want to ask this question, and we are at 5 minutes, so we're not going to be able to get deeper into it. This may be a Tuesday night conversation, so you got to stay tuned. We go live Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Sunday. Okay, so Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Sunday nights we go live. On Tuesday and Thursday we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Sundays we go live at 6 p.m. But I'm going to ask this question to give you something to think about. Should your partner complete you? Should your partner complete you? And I asked that question, and we may get into that on Tuesday night. I don't know how the conversation is going to go, but that's a great question to ask. Should your partner complete you? And there is right and wrong answers, but I respect all opinions, because I think that this is how we evolve and we continue to grow, is through having complete. Should your partner complete you? Plete. Eleanor says no. Hey, Pastor Eleanor. I'm going to say pastor because you are a pastor. God bless you, woman of God. Libra says, that's a good topic for next time. Yes, this is a tease, okay? So this is a tease for Tuesday, okay? We're going to go ahead and make it Tuesday's topic, okay? So y'all got to join. All 12 of y'all got to tell y'all friends, and it's got to be 24 of y'all on here on Tuesday. We're going to have the conversation. Should your partner complete you. Your partner should compliment you. Okay. Jennifer, but you have to be complete in yourself first. Jay, no, I do not feel like you should already be complete before you meet them. No, Samantha says, whole beings, bio, psycho, social, spiritual. I just read that the other day. I just read that today, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Absolutely. Bio, psycho, social, spiritual. You should be a whole being. All right. Eve says, I think your partner should support what you feel that you need to do to complete. Let me start over. I think your partner should support what you feel that you need to do to complete you, even if they're not in the picture. Absolutely. That's a good one. Dolores, your partner should be a part of you. Okay. Absolutely. So I definitely appreciate all of the feedback. Maybe we'll save that and we'll just talk about like the dynamics of we talked about the dynamics of relationship last week. But talking about what the difference is in complete and complement. What does that mean? Because there are a lot of people who don't know, and I appreciate the variety of responses. Most folks lean more towards being complete before the relationship, and there's some who have some other feelings, and there's some who don't know. And so we definitely want to use our knowledge and the things that we know to help educate other people, because there are people who right now look for their partners to complete them, and that would go back to what we talked about in being broken. When we're broken, sometimes we find that we try to find our fix in whoever it is that's in our lives at that moment, and that person is becoming part of us, and we're becoming more of them, and we're losing ourselves, and we're not healing. And so definitely recognizing that it can impact knowing what your partner is. You're glued to the topic already. We have to go. I'm definitely excited. Maybe Tuesday y'all can be on. Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eve Dallas, that's 7 o'clock for you. I'm calling you out. So definitely leave a hierarchy. Absolutely. Hierarchy of needs. We're going to talk about that. I think that these things are so very important. So definitely, y'all, I'm so very excited, and you all have just made my night. Listen, I'm going to share this again because this made my whole day. Y'all, I bought this new Bible. Look, for y'all to know me is to know I like Bibles, right? And I bought this cultural background Bible. Why? Because so often we're reading the word and we're looking at it from a literal standpoint, and there's so many cultural contexts to the word of God. And so it is so important that we recognize that. For those who read the Bible, it is so very important that we recognize that. So I'm so excited about that. That just made my whole entire day. And I'm going to start reading as soon as I get off this video. But I want you all to know that you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are enough, you are loved, you are amazing. And even though you may not be exactly where you want to be, you are right where you're supposed to be, and we appreciate you for being. You being on this page, you being available, you chiming in with your discussion. For folks who are watching and not saying anything, I love you as well. For folks who will watch later, you're very special to me. I want you all to know that y'all are amazing. Let's do a one-word checkout. How is everyone feeling? Once we do that one-word checkout, we're going to go, and you're going to meet us back here on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. as we talk about relationships, complimenting versus completing. Is that okay with y'all? Thank you, Jennifer. I hope your book writing is going well. Okay, I hope it's going well. I didn't forget. I really hope that your book writing is going well, and all of that is going on. That's blessed in your world. Shanice says, great. Dolores, grateful. Libra, refreshed. Kenosha, yes. Jay, excited. Pastor Eleanor, blessed. Jennifer, absolutely it is. Amen. So I am so excited. I look forward to seeing y'all Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Tuesday. Don't leave me hanging. Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We're going to be on here. If you haven't already shared this video, there may be something that someone who needed to hear this message on today. So definitely share the video, like it, send it to your friend's inbox, whatever you have to do for them to see it and receive it. Why? Because we had a good conversation on love tonight, and it's very important. Okay, so see you all on Tuesday. You all stay blessed and beautiful. Just remember that if nobody else out there loves you, I do.